Hello students of class 10. Welcome back to part 2 of Nationalism in India, History chapter 2. Now we will start today the topics like towards civil disobedience, the different views within the Congress, demand of Purna Swaraj, the Salt March and the civil disobedience movement, relaunching of the civil disobedience movement after calling of the movement. Then we will go to the participation in the movement and the limits of the civil disobedience. So let's start the topic with the first point towards civil disobedience. In February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement, as you all know that he felt that the movement was turning violent in many places and the satyagrahis needed to be properly trained before they would be ready for mass struggles. Now, one of the main incidents happened for the movement to be taken off was that Chauri Chaura incident. Now Chauri Chaura is a place in Gorakhpur. That was the main reason behind the withdrawing of the non-cooperation. The Chauri Chaura incident that occurred in Gorakhpur district of United Province in February 1922. Now the different views within the Congress. Now some leaders within Congress were tired of the mass struggle and they wanted to participate in the election to the provincial councils that was set up by the Government of India Act of 1919. They felt that it was important to oppose British policies within the councils. Now, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru formed the Swaraj Party within the Congress to argue for a return to council politics, whereas some younger leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose argued for more strong mass agitation and for full independence. In this situation of internal debate and discussions, two factors shaped Indian politics towards the late 1920s. The two factors were: first was the effect of the worldwide economic depression, second was the agricultural prices which began to fall from 1926 and collapsed after the 1930. Now we will discuss about the Simon Commission. Simon Commission was constituted under John Simon. The main objective of the Simon Commission was to review the functioning of the constitutional system in India and suggest changes in the system. Indian leaders opposed the commission as there were no Indians in it. So when the commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan, "Simon, go back." All parties, including the Congress and the Muslim League, participated in the demonstrations. Now the demand for the Purna Swaraj. In October 1929, the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, announced an uncertain offer of dominion status for India and a round-table conference to discuss a future constitution. Now, what is dominion status? Now, dominion status refers to semi-autonomous country within the British Empire only, that is also called British Commonwealth countries. In December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Lahore Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj or full independence for India. It was declared that 26 January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day. Now, the famous Salt March and the civil disobedience movement. Mahatma Gandhi believed that salt was a powerful symbol that could unite the nation. On 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin which claimed 11 demands. One of these 11 demands was to abolish salt tax. Irwin was not ready to talk about the demands. Thus, Gandhiji took the decision to launch the movement. Along with 78 followers, Gandhiji started Salt March from Sabarmati Ashram on 12th March 1930 for Dandi, the coastal town of Gujarat. On 6th April, he reached Dandi and broke the salt law by boiling seawater and manufacturing salt. Many people across the country broke the salt law, made their own salt, and protested in front of government salt factories. This marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. As the movement spread, foreign clothes were boycotted and liquor shops were picketed. Peasants refused to pay revenue and chowkidari taxes. Village officials resigned. In many places, forest people violated forest laws. However, British government arrested all the leaders, including Gandhiji. During the civil disobedience movement, peaceful satyagrahis were attacked. Women and children were beaten and about 1 lakh people were arrested. When Abdul Ghaffar Khan was arrested in April 30, several violent incidents took place in Peshawar. In this situation, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement and signed a pact with Lord Irwin on 5th of March 1931. This was called Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Then, in December 1931, Gandhiji went to London for a second round-table conference, but he returned disappointed as the British government refused to release the prisoners. When Gandhiji came back in India, he found that Congress had been declared illegal and Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Jawaharlal Nehru were imprisoned. Mahatma Gandhi relaunched the civil disobedience movement. This movement continued for a year but lost its strength by the year 1934. Now, for some important information, we need to know what is HSRA. That is the formation of the Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Many nationalists did not believe in non-violent method for achieving freedom. In 1928, some nationalists like Bhagat Singh, Jatin Das and Ajoy Ghosh founded the Hindustan Socialist Republican Army in 1928 at a meeting in Firoz Shah Kotla ground in Delhi. In the countryside, rich peasants communities like the Patidas of Gujarat and the Jats of Uttar Pradesh were the supporters of the civil disobedience movement. As producers of cash crops, they suffered from a decline in trade, low prices, and couldn't pay the government's taxes. The poor peasantry found it difficult to pay their rent to the landlords as the depression continued. They joined a variety of radical movements, often led by socialists and communists, in the hope that they would not have to pay the rent any further. Associations like Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress, Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce, industries like the leadership of G.D. Birla, Purushottam Thakur Das, etc., supported the civil disobedience movement in the hope that business restriction would be lifted. The Indian merchants and industrialists formed the Indian Industrial and Commerce Congress in 1920 and the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries FICCI in 1927. The industrial working classes did not participate in the civil disobedience movement in large numbers except in the Nagpur regions. Some workers joined the civil disobedience movement, adopting aspects like boycotting foreign goods for their protest against low wages and hard working conditions. The railway workers organized strikes in 1930 and dock workers in 1932. In 1930, tin mine workers in Chota Nagpur wore Gandhi caps for protest. An important feature of this movement was the large-scale participation of women. In urban areas, women came from high-caste families. In rural areas, women came from rich peasant households. Women were inspired by Gandhiji's call and they began to see service to the nation as their sacred duty. Now we will discuss about the limits of the civil disobedience. Dalits or untouchables and Muslims did not actively participate in this movement. Gandhiji called the Dalits Harijan or the children of God. He believed that Swaraj would not come for 100 years if untouchability was not eliminated. He organized satyagraha for them to secure their entry into temples and access to public wells, tanks, roads, and schools. Gandhiji himself cleaned the toilets to dignify the work of Bhangi, that is, the sweepers. Gandhiji agreed and urged the upper class to change their mindset regarding the untouchables. Dalit involvement in the civil disobedience movement was limited, especially in Maharashtra and Nagpur, where their organization was quite strong. Dalit leaders wanted a different political solution to the problems of their community. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar demanded reserved seats in educational institutions and a separate electorate that would choose Dalit members for legislative councils. Ambedkar organized the Dalits into the depressed classes associations in 1930. His views differed with Mahatma Gandhi at the Second Round Table Conference as he demanded separate electorate for Dalits. When the British government admitted Ambedkar's demand, Gandhiji strongly opposed it and began a first unto death. Gandhiji believed that separate electorate for Dalits would slow down the process of their integration into the main society. Ambedkar ultimately accepted Gandhiji's position and as a result, Pune Pact of September 1932 was signed. This pact gave the depressed classes reserved seats in provincial and central legislative council. Now, Hindu-Muslim clash. Some of the Muslim political organizations in India rarely participated in the civil disobedience movement. After the decline of the non-cooperation and Khilafat movement, a large section of the Muslims felt separated from the Congress. From the mid 1920s, the Congress came to be more associated with openly Hindu religious nationalist groups like the Hindu Mahasabha. Now, there was a difference between the Hindu Mahasabha and the Muslim League. The Congress and the Muslim League made efforts to talk again for unity. In 1927, it appeared that such a unity could be possible. The only difference in the opinion of Congress and Muslim League was based on representation in the future assemblies that were to be elected. The leader of the Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was willing to give up the demand for separate electorate on two conditions, which were as follows. Muslims were assured reserved seats in the Central Assembly. Representation would be in proportion to the population in Muslim-dominated provinces. In 1928, at the All Parties Conference, M.R. Jayakar of the Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed the demands of Jinnah. Many Muslim leaders and intellectuals feared that the culture and identity of minorities could be submerged under the domination of Hindu majority. In 1930, Sir Muhammad Iqbal, the president of Muslim League, demanded the importance of separate electorates for the Muslims. He justified that Muslim demand for that is the creation of a Muslim India within India only. So that's all for today's part 2. We will get back to the chapter again in part 3. So till then, keep reading your NCERT books and keep following my video. Thank you.